Thank you. Wing got down from his wagon, cautiously, clinging to the handholds, pausing, groaning. It might as well have been a 200-foot sheer vertical surface he was descending. He was worn and felt very old. Did feel like the happiest tired old man in the world, though. He had lowered himself, grip by grip. The blood ran down his left arm and streamed down his side, past his hip to the foot and on to the ground, stab by stab. He would not acknowledge or tend his hand. It was now God's business. But he had decided he would like to have his pants on. Wing's clothes heated and adjusted themselves to suit the needs of the wearer. He could live in them like they were a home. What that really meant was that he didn't make a fire if he didn't want to. Fires are nice and he loved them, but they made it hard to see anything but the fire. The cold, clean night was spent with his legs dangling over the edge of the exposed cliff face, drinking and watching the sky. It was so full of stars it was hard to see the patterns and shapes bright groups make on duller nights. Lester and Earl sat on their rumps like dogs beside him, wagging their tails. The little raven was nested in Wing's upturned hat. All were joined by a large assortment of life, from the sky and from the woods, all looking up, spinning heads, cooing, howling, cawing, shrieking at the same time to the shooting stars. When Wing woke, Lester and Earl were in their places at the wagon. Time to go. The raven waited on the wagon edge beside the driver's seat. What's your name? Raven. Oh, I like that. Except for Wing's white shirt, he and Raven dressed alike. They looked a little like Earl did too. Lester was the exception, blinding white. Lester and Earl were as far apart in color as the numbers at either end of an infinite number line. They got that way because of their close relationship with the great good. The sight of them instantly taught many of God's lessons. Fact is, it was their closeness to the eternal that first got Wing to thinking about it. For them, it was not a matter of believing in God. There was no reason to have to believe in something as real as daylight. Oh, yeah, the jerk? The wagon that looked like it belonged to a scrap heap at the back of some Western movie studio was again on the move. None of its faded colors or appearance allowed anyone to understand how it could roll even 2 feet without falling apart. Wing knew his snake oil sales show started as soon as the first person from a town saw him, and the wagon was a part of the mystery. Well, this was the troop that left that mountain. Wing never gave that place a name. Raven never called it anything. Lester and Earl the same everywhere and never go on about much no matter what could be said. God didn't call it a particular place, so they never spoke about it again. Wing had prayed and made a bond, that was all. And it seemed like it didn't like being talked about and cheapened. That's why it was so fun for Wing to lean and whisper, Hey, did you catch exactly what I said I would do? To Raven. Lester and Earl easily heard and responded with an immediate back kick of the wagon. Raven jumped into the air to avoid the jar, but it made Wing's teeth rattle. Just kidding, boys. I already got some ideas about it. It's all about cycles, you know? Everything that is a whole exists in a cycle. Some of them are inside of each other, like minutes and hours. Each minute is a whole cycle, but it's turning fast inside of a bigger one. Now, prayer is a cycle, a full and complete cycle. A thing with a beginning, a middle, and an end that comes back on itself. But it's not inside of anything else. Wing paused, so glad the kicking hadn't continued. But so did Lester and Earl. It was always dangerous when they listened. Hey boys, don't slow down. We got dance to go to. You'll like the new gyro. But anyway, okay, you're moving. That's good. Giddy up. What? Are you nuts? Just tell them about the cycles or they'll kick your ass next. The obviously astute and hysterical Raven shrieked. So next, the way I'm seeing it is it's all about cycles. Cycles within cycles, and independent circular events like a heartbeat or a breath that exist inside of others but still individually have their own kind of complete. It's really all about making circles. But we don't need to discuss that to make the finer points we're after in this conversation. Am I right? Oh, good God, I'm glad I can fly. Raven flatly rejoiced. Lester and Earl defecated while in the harness, something they never do. No, look! I'm only getting our song started. I remember every promise, boys, and every implication. Really, it's all a matter of figuring out which cycles you're going to live by. For me, I'll always choose the ones that are a love song. My story is a love song. I'll choose it that way all the time. Listen,